Hello, welcome back to Miss Bell's channel. Today we will be talking about space and we'll be continuing our space series. So we're going to talk about another planet. So can anyone tell me what planet this is? Yes. It's not Mercury. We've already talked about Mercury. What planet is this? Yes, it is Venus, and it's a planet. Does anyone know anything about Venus? No one? Really? Okay, so it is the second closest planet to the sun. Is anything else? Okay, well that's good, because we're going to learn a lot about this today. Feel free to take notes for the quiz at the end. And pay attention or take a nap if you already know everything. So the first person to actually point a telescope at Venus was Galileo in 1610. So almost 400 years ago. It's a very long time ago. Venus is named after the goddess of love and beauty. And Venus has become nearly synonymous with woman in popular culture, as referenced by the famous relationship guide, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Raise your hand if you've heard that before. So they're talking about this planet. So Venus is the only planet in the solar system to be named after a female figure. It's the second closest planet to the sun at a distance of 67 million miles. It is sometimes referred to as the sister planet to Earth because their size and mass are so similar. So I'm going to kind of show you an example. So here's Earth and here's Venus, and you can see their sizes are very, very close to each other. And it's also the closest planet to Earth. So due to the slow rotation on Venus, it takes 243 Earth days to complete one rotation, which is very, very slow. The orbit of the planet takes 225 Earth days, making a year on Venus shorter than a day on Venus. It's very, very interesting. So Venus's rotation is pretty unique compared to most other planets. Most other planets rotate counterclockwise on their axis. However, Venus rotates clockwise. And this is known as retrograde rotation. And it might have been caused by a collision with an asteroid or another object, and that caused the planet to change its rotation. Any questions so far about what we're talking about? Does it make sense? Do you have anything to add to what I'm saying about what you know about Venus? Okay, so we'll continue. Feel free to continue to take notes. So the sun on Venus rises in the west and sets in the east because of the opposite rotation that it has. And Venus actually has the longest rotation of any planet in the solar system. Raise your hand if you think Venus has a moon. So some of us do. It actually doesn't have a moon. Raise your hand if you think Venus has rings like Jupiter. It doesn't either. And that's because Venus has a very, very weak magnetic field, so it can't pull those moons and hold them. And Venus's solid surface is a volcanic landscape. So you can kind of see it looks very, very hot, and it has extensive plains featuring high volcanic mountains and vast rigid plateaus. So look here, actually looks very cool. This is a volcano that you might see on Venus. And Mad Mons is a massive shield volcano. And the volcano I just showed you is actually Mad Mons. It's the second highest mountain and the highest volcano on the planet of Venus. So the planet has very few impact craters, which means that the surface is relatively young at about 300 to 600 million years old. So if you look here, you can't really see a whole lot of craters. But this is what an impact crater might look like on Venus. So you can see that they're pretty large. It's hard for some craters to enter into the atmosphere. Any questions about that so far? Okay, so Venus is actually the hottest planet in the solar system with an average surface temperature of 863 degrees Fahrenheit. Venus doesn't tilt on its axis, which means there are no seasons either. It's just really, really hot all the time. Raise your hand if you would want to live on Venus. Yeah, me either. We wouldn't even survive. So Venus doesn't tilt on its axis, which means there are no seasons. And Venus's extreme temperatures and acidic clouds make it an unlikely place for life as we know it. So even if we wanted to go to Venus, we wouldn't survive there. So while the surface rotates slowly, the winds blow at hurricane force, and that sends clouds completely around the planet every 5 days. It's very, very crazy. And even though Venus isn't the closest planet to the sun, it is still the hottest. It has a thick atmosphere full of greenhouse gas, carbon dioxide, and clouds made of sulfuric acid. The atmosphere traps heat and keeps Venus toasty warm. So this picture was taken kind of like with a regular camera, so like on your iPhone or something like that. And if you look at it, Venus actually looks very, very cloudy, whereas this picture was taken with a radar. So you can see how much different it is, and you can actually see how much clouds Venus does have. So Venus has an extremely dense atmosphere. Its atmosphere is 93 times Earth's atmosphere. And the pressure on Venus is 92 times as strong as on Earth. So if we were on Venus, we would be crushed by the pressure. And if you look here, Venus is a very, very bright planet. It's actually the third brightest object in Earth's sky after the sun and moon. Any questions so far? Okay, so we can keep going? Good. Okay, so scientists believe that Venus once possessed large amounts of water or oceans. However, due to the high temperatures produced from the extreme greenhouse effect, this water boiled off long ago. And the atmospheric pressure of Venus is 92 times stronger than Earth. So as said a little bit earlier, the atmospheric pressure of Venus is 92 times stronger than Earth's. And what that means is that the smaller asteroids that try to enter the atmosphere, they actually get crushed by the pressure, so they're not able to make it to the actual planet. And so if you look at the planet here, you can't see a lot of small surface craters because they're not able to enter the atmosphere because there's so much pressure. And the pressure is actually equivalent to being around 1,000 kilometers under the Earth's oceans. So if you were to enter that, you would definitely not survive. And just like we saw here in this picture, they have very thick clouds. Or not they. Venus has very thick clouds, and the details of its surface cannot be obtained through just a simple photograph like this. And fortunately, though, scientists have been able to use the method of radar mapping, which is how we're able to see this and acquire this information. So raise your hand if you've guessed, how many spacecrafts do you think have explored Venus? Yes. 1. Okay, any other guesses? Yes. 5. Any others? Yes. 10. Any others? 20. Well, actually, it's been more than 40 spacecrafts have explored Venus. And the Soviet Union's spacecraft Venera 13 survived the intense heat and crushing pressure of Venus' surface for more than 2 hours. So this is the Mariner 10, and the Mariner 10 is a spacecraft which took some of the first pictures of Venus. And as we know, the surface of Venus is hidden by that layer of clouds, which are formed from sulfuric acid. And some scientists believe billions of years ago, the climate of Venus may have actually been similar to that of Earth. Alright, so I hope that you took some good notes today while we learned about Venus. And right now, I would like you to take out a notebook and write the numbers 1 through 10. And I'll give you some time to do that, as it is time for the quiz. So go ahead and keep writing 1 through 10. And you may use your notes for this. Try your best. It will be out of 10 points. Make sure your name is on it. And I hope that you are paying attention. Okay, so raise your hand if you are ready to begin the quiz. Okay, so everyone is. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you the questions, and I want you to write your answer down. And then once we've gone through all of them, we will go ahead and go over the answers. Okay? So number 1, in what year did Galileo point a telescope at Venus? Number 2, about what distance is Venus from the Sun? Number 3, what planet is closer to Earth, Venus, or Mars? Number 4, what direction does Venus rotate? Number 5, If you lived on Venus, would you be more years or days old? Number 6. Why do scientists believe Venus rotates opposite than most other planets? Right. Number 7. What is the name of Venus's ring? Number 8. What's the longest time a spacecraft lasted on the surface of Venus? Number 9. How many times stronger is the atmospheric pressure of Venus when compared to Earth? Number 10. In Earth's sky, what are the other 2 objects that are brighter than Venus? Alright, so I'm going to give you a little bit of time to finish up your answers, and if you need me to repeat anything, you can raise your hand. Yes. Number 1. In what year did Galileo point a telescope at Venus? Any others? Yes. Number 5. If you lived on Venus, would you be more years or days old? Yes. Number 8. Okay. What's the longest time a spacecraft has lasted on the surface of Venus? Okay, so I'm going to go over the answers. So number 1, in what year did Galileo point a telescope at Venus? Does anyone know what year? What year did you write down? Yes. It's not 1900. Yes. Yes, it is 1610. Good job taking notes and paying attention today. Okay, number 2. About what distance is Venus from the sun? How many miles? Yes. It's not 15. Yes. It's not 1 million. Yes. It's not 60 million, but you're very close. Yes. Yes, 67 million miles is how far Venus is from the sun. That one was hard. Number 3, what planet is closer to Earth, Venus or Mars? Yes. Yes, it is Venus. Very good. Number 4, what direction does Venus rotate? Yes. It's not north. Yes. It's not south. I'll give you a clue. Think about how clocks rotate. Yes, it is clockwise. Very good. Number 5, if you lived on Venus, would you be more years or days old? Yes, years. And why would you be more years than days on Venus? Okay, so no one knows. So because a year is actually shorter than a day on Venus, so you would be more years than days. Number 6. Why do scientists believe Venus rotates opposite of most other planets? Yes. an asteroid, and what happened with the asteroid? The asteroid hit the planet, yeah. So scientists believe that the asteroid caused Venus to rotate the opposite direction when it hit the planet of Venus. Number 7, what is the name of Venus's ring? No one knows. It's because Venus actually doesn't have a ring. So if you put no ring, you got that one correct. Number 8, what's the longest time a spacecraft lasted on the surface of Venus? Yes. It's not 2 days. Yes. It's not 1 day. I'll give you a clue. It's less than a day. Yes. It's not 5 hours, but you're very close. Yeah. 2 hours. It lasted 2 hours. Number 9. How many times stronger is the atmospheric pressure of Venus when compared to Earth? And I'll read that one again. How many times stronger is the atmospheric pressure of Venus when compared to Earth? Yes. It's very close to 90. You're so close. Yes. Yeah, 92. Good job paying attention and taking good notes. Okay, number 10. In the Earth's sky, what are the 2 other objects that are brighter than Venus? So if you were on Earth looking and you were able to get a telescope and look, what other 2 objects would be brighter than Venus on Earth? What's one of them? Yes, the sun. And there's one more. We've talked about this in the past. It's not Mercury. Yes. Yeah, it's the moon. Very good. Okay, so go ahead and grade your quiz and write how many points you got correct. So if you got 5, do 5 out of 10. If you got 10 out of 10, write 10 out of 10. And then make sure your name is on it. And then you may hand your paper up so I can see how you did on the quiz. Alright, so I hope that you learned some interesting information about Venus today. I hope that you were able to relax and maybe take a nap. Good night.